In 1951, a Bengali man founded a political party. That party went on to rule most of India. But in his own home state, Bengal, it could not win for 75 years. 75 years. Think about that. The party founded by a Bengali icon, a man who was Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University at 33, who resigned from Nehru's own cabinet to fight for Bengali identity, could not win a single majority in Bengal for three quarters of a century. On May 4th, 2026, BJP won 206 seats in West Bengal, a staggering 45.84% vote share. The left is irrelevant, TMC is shattered, and a wall that held for 75 years is gone. But here is the question nobody is asking. How did a party considered too not Indian for Bengal suddenly become Bengal's choice? And what does this mean for Indian politics going forward? To understand what just happened in Bengal, you have to go back to 1901. A boy is born in Calcutta. His name is Syama Prasad Mookerjee. By 33, he becomes the youngest Vice Chancellor of Calcutta University in history. He fights to bring Bengali into university education. He champions Bengali culture at a time when English was the language of power and prestige. He later joins Nehru's cabinet but resigns because he believed Nehru was soft on Pakistan and the issue of Hindu refugees from East Bengal. In 1951, he founds the Bharatiya Janasangh, the ancestor of today's BJP, and then in 1953, he dies suddenly in detention in Kashmir under circumstances that are still disputed. And with him, his ideology quietly withers in Bengal. For the next 70 years, Bengal's intellectual class, Bhadra Loka, a refined upper class elite, successfully branded anything connected to his ideology as regressive, as un-Bengali, as the politics of outsiders. They were so good at this that a party founded by a Bengali could not win in Bengal until now. But why was Bengal so resistant in the first place? To understand this, you need to understand what political scientists call a party society. Imagine a state where your local party office does not just decide who wins elections. It decides whether you get a job, whether your child gets into school, whether your family gets ration card. That was Bengal under the left front, which ruled for 34 continuous years from 1977 to 2011. 34 years. That is longer than most of us have been alive. The CPIM did not just run a government, it ran a parallel system of power that touched every single aspect of daily life. If you weren't with the party, you were against your own survival. And they were brilliant at one other thing. They captured the refugee vote. Millions of Hindus who had fled East Bengal, that is today's Bangladesh, were given informal benefits, quiet recognition, without ever actually solving their citizenship problem. Just enough to keep them loyal, just enough to keep them voting. They called it governance. You could also call it a very sophisticated trap. In 2011, Bengal finally broke free from the left. Mamata Banerjee swept to power with one word, Poriborton, change. And for a while, it felt real. A new energy, a new face, a new beginning. But 15 years is a long time. And somewhere along the way, change became just another version of the same trap. Cut money. Every government contract, every local scheme, a percentage cut for the party worker. Syndicate control. Local strongmen controlling construction, sand, coal with political protection. TMC did not dismantle the party society. It rebranded it. And then came the moment that broke Bengal's trust completely. The Supreme Court cancelled 25,000 teacher appointments, not because of a technicality, because they were bought. School teaching jobs sold to the highest bidder, while qualified candidates waited in line for years. In a state that worships education, that worships the idea of meritorious Bengali student, this wasn't just corruption. This was a theft of identity, and it was the beginning of the end. While all of this was happening on the surface, something else was happening underground. For 3 decades, the RSS was quietly playing a completely different game in Bengal. Not rallies, not speeches, not aggressive Hindutva. Schools, health clinics, local cultural organizations, yoga camps in Bengali neighborhoods, and most importantly, they stopped sounding like North Indians. They learned Bengali. They invoked Swami Vivekananda, not as a Hindu icon, but as a Bengali icon. They made their ideology feel native, feel local. Between 2011 and 2024, RSS shakas in Bengal doubled, reaching 2,000. Their school network tripled. This wasn't a political strategy. This was a civilisational patience. Think of it like a tree. You don't see the roots growing. You only see the tree when it is already tall enough to stand on its own. By 2026, that tree was fully grown. Political ground shifts slowly and then all at once. Two events accelerated everything. First, the RG Kar Medical College case. A young woman doctor allegedly assaulted inside a hospital, and the state's response perceived as slow, defensive, protective of the powerful, shattered something fundamental. TMC's strongest base had always been women. Mamta herself had built her political identity on being the woman who stood up to the powerful. When women felt unsafe and felt the government looked away, that base cracked. Second, Sandesh Khali. Allegations of land grab and harassment by local TMC strongmen. Women in a rural Bengal district coming forward on camera. Imagery was devastating. Safety, the most basic promise any government makes to its citizens, and in the minds of many Bengali voters, that promise had been broken. When safety fails, no welfare scheme in the world can compensate. No, here is where it gets genuinely controversial. Before the 2026 elections, a special intensive revision of voter rolls was conducted. Over 9 million names were deleted, nearly 12% of the entire electorate gone. BJP framed this as cleaning up the rolls, removing illegal infiltrators, ghost voters. TMC called it targeted disenfranchisement, minorities being deleted to alter the arithmetic. Here is what is undeniable. Those deletions fundamentally changed the numbers in over 140 seats. And simultaneously, for the first time in Bengal's modern history, the Muslim vote fragmented. Instead of consolidating behind TMC, it split between TMC, Congress, and the ISF. On the other side, the Hindu vote consolidated at an estimated 65%. The result is BJP won 72 seats where minority voters were in significant numbers. Was it fair? Was it engineered? The debate will continue for years. But arithmetic is undeniable. On the surface, BJP won an election. Big majority. Historic victory. But underneath that, several things happened simultaneously. The idea of Bengali exceptionalism, the belief that Bengal was immune to national political trends, that its intellectual culture was its shield, that idea died on May 4th. A 30-year cultural project by the RSS proved that you can change the politics of a state without ever winning a single dramatic battle. Just by showing up consistently in schools, in clinics, in neighborhoods. The refugee issue, held in political limbo for 70 years, finally became a decisive factor. And a welfare state, no matter how generous its schemes, cannot survive when it loses the basic trust of its people. Bengal did not just elect a new government. Bengal rewrote its own political identity. The question now is what happens next? Because winning Bengal and governing Bengal, those are two completely different problems. Here is what I want you to think about. 75 years is a long time to wait. Most political strategies are planned in 5-year cycles. The next election, the next alliance, the next scheme. RSS played a 30-year game and won. That tells you something profound about how real, lasting political change actually works. It is not about the loudest rally. It is about who is still in the room when the noise dies down. Bengal has changed. Whether that change delivers what ordinary Bengalis actually need: jobs, safety, education, dignity. That verdict is still being written. Tell me in the comments, do you think This BJP victory is a permanent shift in Bengalese politics, or is this another cycle that will reverse? I genuinely want to know what you think. I am Akshay Palankar. I will see you in next one. Thanks for watching. Jai Hind.